4 sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Virtus, Medushi, and Lilies. Made by St. Vincent Containers.
Do what you want! Secure your $20 High Room Beer 40th anniversary ticket and get a chance to win an Isuzu D-Max. Plus 4 cold High Room beers on entry. Free! So get your tickets from St. Vincent Brewery Limited and Stillstruck, Lasham, Kendall Park, Randy Supermarket, Diamond Kingstown, Diamond Groceries, Calico, and Diamond, TP Wholesale, Park Hill, Country Mart, Georgetown, Beachfront Bar and Restaurant, Fitzhugh. Celebrate 40 years of High Room Beer. Saturday, May 24, Victoria Park. High Room Beer urges you to drink responsibly.
99.9 WEFM.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so we are back with you for another commentary segment here on our Activated Mornings program with Dianna and Roleza. And the number to get interactive with us is 457-9997. That is a direct number, and that is also the WhatsApp number. And if you do not feel like calling, guess what? We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can also interact with us there. Right? All right, so let's head into a story that is, not such a happy one. All right. Yes, it's not such a happy one. So yes, today, when Dianna and I were having that discussion about, fruits and so forth going to waste, and the general discussion that we had with regards to that, I made mention of just seeing an article. At the time, I did not read the article. So I'm reading this from One News SVG. So the first story says, young man chopped to death in Glen, allegedly over Plumrose. All right. So yesterday, a young man believed, or the day before actually, a young man believed to be in his 20s was killed with a cutlass by another man on Wednesday night following an altercation. The deceased has been identified as Ronaldo Adams, reportedly in his early 20s. He was said to have been killed by an individual who operates a small business in the area. Residents told One News SVG that the dispute arose over permission the victim had received to access a Plumrose tree in the area. The victim had been collecting the fruit for sale. It is reported that the victim and the alleged perpetrator became embroiled in a heated argument regarding access to the fruit on the tree, which belonged to neither men. All right, story one. So there was an update. So one person is in custody assisting the investigation into the fatal wounding of Ronaldo Adams. He is 21 years old. All right. So Mr. Adams was wounded around 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday. I look at the time of the night as well, too, on Wednesday night. All right. He was taken to preliminary reports indicate that Adams sustained several chop wounds to his body following the altercation. He was later taken to the Milton Katie Memorial Hospital by individuals at the scene where he succumbed to his injuries. Police say they promptly responded to the report, secured the scene, and the CSU attended the location and processed the area, collecting items for evidential value. All right. So residents told One News SVG that the altercation occurred due to a disagreement over access to the Plumrose tree, which neither the victim nor the perpetrator owned. All right. There was something else with the persons in the community. I guess it wasn't the first story. Right. So the victim, so this is going back to the first story. The victim has been described as a good youth, and the incident left the community in shock. So Mr. Adams' death marks the 12th homicide in SVG for 2025, and police are investigating. All right. So this is one of those stories that, you know what? I would actually like to be able to talk to the alleged perpetrator at this time to ask him how he feels. No. Right? Because, and this is one of those things. I mean, this story is developing. So I guess we have to be a little bit cautious in terms of what we say with regards to the reason. But if the reason, as stated from the news article, is true in full, this is just one of those stories that does not make any sense. That legit does not make any sense, right? And, you know, there are times that I always say that the devil does get bad blame, right? The devil does get blamed for things that many of us consciously decide to do. But if he tell me the devil fly up in his head, I might believe him this time, right? Because, and this is like, I'll be very honest, and I even like trying to be very funny here, but this is like the second incident of an individual who has done something. Well, the other person is currently in jail. But it's like the second incident of something that I see somebody doing that just does not make sense, right? I won't go into what was the first one, right? But just does not make any sense. And this is why I said I would like to have a conversation with the person to find out how they feel. Like, if it's really and truly over Plumrose,
what you going to jail for?
Like Plumrose? No, seriously, Plumrose. You know, and my whole thing is that wasn't there a different way for this situation to be handled? And if, as the story is saying, that the alleged perpetrator left the scene and went to get the cutlass, you still kind of had some time to think before returning.
I mean, you couldn't just argue. You couldn't. What happened to good old hand-to-hand combat? You know,
or a good cuss out. I mean, there's this MC phrase that we like to use in SVG, and it comes from the bowels of many persons' stomach when they tell you it. You hear it coming from all the way deep down inside. I mean, if you have to do a cuss out, do the cuss out, you know. But my Lord, to resort to this, to a 21-year-old, and this is my whole thing, you know, sometimes I just want to have these conversations with God. It's like, God, really truly, how is my life going to end? You know, if you're going to tell me that at 21 I'm going to die over, you know, being chopped over Plumrose, you know, it's
crazy. That is, I feel just like how you feel. I've been sitting thinking this whole time, like, how could one person is dead and one person is probably going to jail over something that grows naturally, a little fruit, you eat it, digest, pass it back out, whatever, you know. Yeah, I feel like how you feel, Roleza. Yeah, I would like you to have that conversation with the perpetrator, to have his what was going through his mind at the time. Maybe there is something more, because it's really definitely hard to accept that you are going to go to jail for killing somebody. Somebody's lost their life over fruits.
Yeah. I don't know. You know of this situation of a brother who killed another brother over a dumpling? Years ago, you heard of it?
Yes.
Right. So that, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think that happened on it was Christmas Day. I think it was a Christmas Day. You know, and then there was 1 year ago when I was growing up of a conductor who he killed another person over $1, a passenger over $1. If I'm not mistaken, I think it happened at Kittle. I think it's Top Kittle. Somebody could clarify that for me. But I mean, I don't want to just talk to men, because I know that as women, we too can be hot-headed. It's just that we might not go for a cutlass and that kind of thing. But, you know, it's like whenever you find yourself in situations of disputes, just think about, do I really want to have to go to prison to be around other people who I don't know? Some of you don't even want to be around your family members.
I must want to make new friends, man, because I don't get it. I make new friends. I honestly understand that it's difficult in the moment sometimes for us to stop and to think. But if you are in a situation like this, if, as this story is saying, it is correct, you know, you left, you had some time to think, you know, you can't just let anger consume you and overwhelm you. You have to be able to stop and think, right? Is my life worth sacrificing on account of something that, you know, what didn't even belong to either of them? And that's the thing.
And on top of that, the guy had permission. You know, and there we were talking about the story yesterday, and what we were discussing about, you know, letting fruits go to waste and all of that. You know, he sought permission. From what the story is saying, that he sought permission. So how did it come down to this?
I'm hoping not that there's going to be a justification for it, but I am hoping that there's more to the story than just this, right? And again, I'm not saying that there's any sort of justification, but Plumrose can't be the end of it for me. It really and truly can't be. All right. So for all the persons out there, to the fruit pickers, those persons who might go around in people's communities, etc. I don't even know what to tell y'all this morning because, it's one thing for us not wanting for things to go to waste, but we also don't want for persons to find themselves where their life could possibly be in danger. But out there, you have to stop and think, all right? You can't just let anger fly up in your head. You have to stop and think. And if there's anything else that we want to leave with all of you today, is that, all right? Don't let anger and frustration or vexation, whether man or woman, because as women, we plenty guilty of this too. We just felt plenty things, but don't let it get to your head because you just never know what the outcome could be, okay? So someone is saying, I think you give the devil and God too much credit over foolish people when is good is God and when is bad is devil. And that's what I'm saying. The thing of it is that the devil gets bad blame for certain situations when people consciously decide to do whatever it is that they're doing. They know what it is they're doing. Mm-hmm. But in this case, the reason why I said it is because it's Plumrose. For this situation to happen over Plumrose, I quicker accept the devil fly up in my head than anything else. All right. So that's why I said what I said initially. All right. And with that, we are heading out of this segment and we'll be back with more Activated Mornings here on WEFM.